One of the new features that we've introduced into version 3.5.01 of the CRM fundraising software is that we now track the date that a donation has been receipted or issued, in other words. So this is a new feature. So for example, if I go into any donor's file and go to their donation history, you can see this last column, which didn't exist prior to this version. It's called the original issue date. So your older donations that were entered prior to this build will not have an issue date here because it didn't exist then. But then you can see the ones that were entered after the installation of version 3.5.01 have an issue date shown in this column. And this is compares to the date that we've always used historically, so the actual date of the donation. So you can see the first donation on this table was entered on the 26th, and the receipt was issued the same day. Same thing with the second receipt. This one here was a donation that we acknowledged we received on June 12th, but we actually issued the receipt for it on June 26th. Now, you can change the way that the receipt is printed. So basically, backing up for a moment, this issue date is populated the first time that you print a receipt. So if you don't print a receipt, this will be left blank until the date that you actually print, or in other words, issue the receipt. And if we were to look at this particular one here and print that on here, you'll see that on our design, historically, we've always used the date of the donation. So you see down here in the bottom corner, the date of issue on this one says June the 12th, which is actually from this second column. If we want it to utilize always the original issue date, we need to modify our design slightly, and I'm going to show you how to do that here. So if I go into my receipt template, if I go down to where I have the date, I'm just going to double click to go into there, and I'm going to double click on that line. This is the formula that I've got built in there right now to print that. So you can see it's taking this donation date and then it's formatting it with this format code. What I need to do is I need to change this field. So basically it will go like this, and I'm just going to put some spaces in there so that it's easier for you to visualize, although you don't actually need spaces in there. So what I'm going to do in here is I'm going to create what's called an if statement. So I would say if, and then under my variable list I can get a list of all of my fields. So if what I want to say is if the original issue date, I'm going to change this plus sign to say is greater than the donation date. Okay, so that's my condition. I'm going to put an apostrophe. So if the original issue date is greater than the donation date, I actually want it to print using the original issue date. And I'll just put another comma here. So it might be a little bit hard to see because that's a long line. So I'm just going to maybe see if I can do a carriage return here so that it makes it a little bit easier to read for you. So the if statement goes like this. It says if this statement is true, then this is the date we want to use. And if it's not true, then we're going to use this date. And that's all this is doing. So it's important that we put the condition in here, because if the issue date has never been created and it's blank, we want to definitely make sure that in that case it's going to use the donation date. So how that changes is, first of all, I guess I need to encapsulate that. There we go. I just missed an ending bracket. So now once we save that, that's going to change so that you'll see now it's picking up on this issue date of June 26 on there. So that's basically the way that you can access that field in your template design. So that's a new feature that's in in version 3501. And that basically happens automatically when you're entering a donation on the Receive a Donation screen. As soon as you print that receipt, it will populate that field for you automatically.